Oh shoot, it went straight to live. Okay. Hello guys. This is Derek and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming miniature video. In today's video, I'm going to be working on my American War of Independence project. I'm working on roads and rivers for the game. We're going to be, as you can see, I've got some materials out on the table. Once I move from the computer to my gaming table to do all the measurements and stuff like that, as soon as I move, what we'll do is I'll change the microphone to the one you see on the camera in the bottom left corner, and we'll start working over there, and I'll change the camera out to something that looks a little bit like that, maybe. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But while I got you here, let me. Oh, really? How about if I do this? No, that doesn't do it. Okay, I don't have a camera set up for that. That's no worries. What we're going to do is I spent a little bit of time this morning looking through my different scenario books that I have for the game, for the battle, that and include that battle. Let me rephrase. And kind of just taking it all in and looking at the different maps and seeing which ones I prefer. I've also gone through different other people's playthroughs of Freeman's Farm, like that one specifically, and taking a look. That looks like a really good battlefield. I commend the player that set that up, right? But that's 28 millimeter, and it's not how do I say this? It's not. It doesn't have the look and feel of the map that I want to give. Okay, it's a beautiful map. I highly, I very much like it. But again, it's 28 millimeter, and I'm doing a 15 millimeter map, which means I can do it on a 4x6, and I can make, and because I'm making my roads bespoke, pretty much, I can do it a little bit more in line with the way it actually was. Okay. Now, as a war gamer and as a referee for a war game, I'm not going to want it to be 100% historically accurate, because I want it to be a game. I want people to be able to move troops. I don't want there to be so many woods. In this case, there's not that many, but according to historical reference, it was very woody in the area. There was very little open area, and I personally want it to be a playable map, if that makes sense. Yes, there are woods, but I don't necessarily need to represent those on the table, because they didn't really have that much of an effect. There were the woods were so open, it wasn't dense or anything, so troops could move through it pretty easily, and you could shoot each other pretty easily in the woods. So I don't need to put a bunch of trees on there if they don't really have that much effect on the game. But there are areas that are dense woods, and I think I'd want to put trees in those areas. Okay, so we're going to spend the first maybe 15, 30 minutes just me trying to figure out what I want to do with the map, right? Okay, so I pulled out Black Powder First Edition. The first battle in Black Powder First Edition is Freeman's Farm. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay. There are two maps in this battle. There's one right here, which is a clean map. And then there's a map down here, which is troop deployment map. It's pretty similar to each other. They're almost exactly the same. And this was played on a 12 by 6 foot table, right? The problem with this map, it's, first of all, it was designed for a 28 millimeter game. And secondly, but I can visually imagine it being half scale. So that would be what, 3 by 6? I can imagine that being a 3 by 6, even though it's not, the ratio of this map is not 3 by 6. It looks like it's a 4 by 6. So I can imagine that battlefield being a 4 by 6, being the proper scale for what I'm doing in 15 millimeter. So I could see that. But the problem is all the roads are straight up and down, straight left and right. The river is straight left and right with a little bit of a curve going one way. The fields are placed behind the Americans, and this battle, well, as a scenario, it sucks. It's a totally crappy scenario the way they wrote it, and I'm glad they didn't reprint it in second edition. They should have, or they should have reworked it and made it a better scenario. But apparently, what's written in this book is a description of the way the Perry brothers and Rick Priestley, they played a scenario with a referee that internally in his head determined deployment and reinforcement rates, and basically ran the game in secret, and with hidden stuff on both sides. And that's not explained in the scenario. It basically just says, he decided that like Riddlesel's units, it's not even represented on the table because the umpire decided beforehand that they wouldn't show up until one of the armies was destroyed. Well, that's not the way I want to run it. I'm going to put them on a timetable, whether they've been destroyed or not. They're coming on, right? So this, and the way they've got the Hamilton's brigade set up, it covers the entire table from left to right. And I don't want that either. I want Hamilton to be centralized. And then with Fraser in the redoubt with a possibility of coming out. And then I want Riddlesell on the flank. So the British Army will cover the entire board, where in this case, they've got Hamilton's brigade covering the entire flank, and then Fraser coming on behind them. I don't like that. I don't like the way Black Powder wrote their rules. Now I might take some clues from this when I write my scenario, but it's not going to be, I'm not playing something straight out of that. All right. Now, here's British Grenadier. This is actually the rules for British Grenadier. And one of the two scenarios in the rules is Freeman's Farm, right? In the rules, Freeman's Farm. In the rules, Freeman's Farm. This map is a lot better in that they do have Hamilton in the center, and they have Fraser in a redoubt in the corner of the battlefield, and they have Riddisell coming onto the table. Reinforcements turn 9. So I don't know. Turn 9 might be a little late because I don't know how fast my game's going to play, and I don't know how long each turn, how it's going to progress. Turn 9, the game might be over. I don't know. It has reinforcement areas for Learned and Poor. Well, Poor starts on the table, actually, on the flank. But yeah, this is the scenario that I had originally played using British Grenadier, and it worked pretty good. It did work pretty good. It wasn't. It just felt like it was missing a few things, and for one thing, British Grenadier rules, they're not quick. They're not fast, fun, and playable. They're just they're well, if you know anything about General D Brigade, that's what they're based on. I just guzzled that. Might have to get another one. Or I can probably open a monster. But yeah, this is sparkling ice. I totally love this. Zero sugar, antioxidants, flavored. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Where was I going? Okay, and the battlefield, I don't know how big this battlefield is, but it's pretty big. They say they run it on a 7x5, but a 4x6 would suffice. But that's basically the area. You can't really see very well, especially with the glare. But that's basically the setup that I want. They have some trees on the table edge. They have a creek, and they barely don't even have a road. The road is kind of just like an afterthought. And they've got a couple of buildings representing the farm, and they've got a redoubt on a hill in the corner. That's like bare bone minimum. That's kind of the way I want to go, but I want to add more, right? It doesn't really have enough. So I'm going to put that off to the side because it doesn't look accurate. It's set up to be, it almost looks like a tournament style game where you've got your side, I've got my side, and we just go at it. Okay. So the best reference for the map, and this is what I'm probably going to be using. I can close that. I don't need that miniature game on the screen. Yeah, I'll close that too. The best map that I found is out of Saratoga, Osprey Saratoga, Turning Point of the Revolution. There is a series of maps. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 3 maps here. It's all the same map. It's just different locations of where the troops were at that time of the day. And if I look at, and that's definitely not a 3x6, right? It looks like it's if I was to say 4 feet by 8 foot, this is probably like a 4x8 table, right? Which I'm personally going to cut off like a foot off of the left side and a foot off of the right side, right? And then I would have a 4x6 table. Now, if that was the case, um, they've got Fraser um, over and up near this thing called a sawmill, and they've got McBride's farm. They've got uh, Freeman's farm, Coulter's farm. They've got the mill. They got cornfields. They got just open fields, which it looks like they've got fencing or hedges or walls. It looks like it's probably fencing separating the different fields. It pretty much looks like a beautiful map. Now, the roads might be a little more nuanced. I wonder if I can find this map on the internet. Because if I can, then I can just draw on the map. Okay, let me... Okay, images. They've got the cover of the book that I'm... Oh, wait. This is a military history wiki. Ooh, that's the same map, but it's done a little differently. Hold on just a second. At least the roads and the rivers are exactly the same. Maybe not exactly the same. Well, maybe they are exactly the same. Okay, they're not. They're fairly similar. They're almost exactly what I want. Yeah. Okay. So let me show you this map I'm looking at. There we go. I need to save this full-size map. Okay, that didn't help. Save image. AWI project, Freeman's Farm. I think I've got a couple other... Really? It's a GIF? No. I'm going to call it a JPG. Now I hope that loads. Yeah. Okay, let me just close the web. You guys are seeing how the sausage is made. Okay, so this is in my picture editor. Wrong direction. Okay, so okay, good. I can move this stuff and get that off the screen. So over here on this side, I'm thinking of cutting a foot off the table, and on this side, I'm going to cut a foot off the. I don't know. Can you see my mouse? You can't see my mouse. Okay. Let's add a layer. There. So now I can draw on it. So I'm going to cut like this much off the table on this side and like this much off the table on this side. So this is going to be my battlefield, right? I'll do the measurements later. But what I need to do today is kind of look at making some roads. An important road, it looks like, is going to be this road here. That looks like it's going to be an important road to make. It might only be the only road I need to make, but that's not true. I'm going to make this road as well. And is that where Freeman's Farm is on this map? Yep. So that's Freeman's Farm right there. These cornfields, and what is this, cornfields as well? It doesn't show cornfields on this map. It just shows fenced in areas. And it doesn't say anything about cornfields. And there's Coulter's farm. That's part of this road I'm going to make. These all down here would be cornfields. But you see how much woods is on this map? I'm not putting that many woods on the map. That's even in the Saratoga battlefield. I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it. Okay, let me see where the mill is. Yeah, the sawmill is up. That's McBride Farm. There's the sawmill right there. Oh, there's another mill right there. Hold on. Oh, there is. Yeah, so I probably will not be putting this mill on the table. It just doesn't feel like it's a necessity. And Fraser, you got the Grenadiers right there, which are here, and then the 24th. Those are all part of Fraser's brigade. And these Jaegers and Grenadiers should be part of Bremen's brigade. So these are different Grenadiers than these Grenadiers. I don't know. Williams is artillery, so I don't know what that is. But yeah, these guys would be the artillery that's part of Fraser's brigade, because this would all be in Land of the Free. This would all be considered one brigade. And then you see how Hamilton is set up through here. He's got what, the 9th, the 21st, the 62nd, the 20th. I think that would be fine. And I don't know if I'm going to put any of this woods here, because I want there to be a battle. And here is the Riflemen and Dearborn's Morgan's brigade. And then looks like 1st New Hampshire comes on right here. This is Arnold. Arnold is the overall commander of the Allied forces. Yeah, so I want there to be I don't know. Do I want a road going this way? I probably do because of the positioning of the British. But they're not going to necessarily, there'll need to be a bridge at the mill, right? Um, so, and then the Brunswickers, according to some of these other scenarios, where does, yeah, Riddicel comes in way down at the bottom. Okay. Riddicel comes in this direction. So I think I need to make this road as well. This little curvy road, I don't know if I need to make it, but I don't know. But there's no bridges that need to be made down here. I have like 4, 5, 6 bridges already. I don't know. I've got a bunch of bridges. There's going to be one there. And because there's a road here and there's a bridge, I'll go ahead and make this road. And then this road right there. Okay. Let me delete that. Okay. Let's be a little bit more judicious. This road doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have, it can be straight. It doesn't have to be so curvy. I'm not going to be bringing Phillips on. He doesn't show up till almost 5 o'clock. Well, it says he shows up right about the same time Riddisol shows up. But I'm not going to do that. It's just going to be Fraser, Hamilton, and no, maybe he shows up early. I don't know. I don't know what units he's got. Yeah, I don't know what units he has. He's a division commander anyway. Maybe it's his division. Burgoyne is like a corps commander. No, Fraser's a division commander too. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to be doing those roads. I'm definitely going to be doing this road, this road, that road, and that road. That's all the roads anyway. I'm doing all the roads, it looks like. Okay. Now let me do a measurement. Um, we're going to do some straight lines. Okay, lines and curves. Straight. I don't want straight. Let me back that up. I'm going to do squares. I consider, okay, maybe they just consider it straight. Okay. Scale at 200 yards. I think that's 8 inches. Okay, I'm not exactly sure. Okay. Let me undo that. Oop. Okay. I think shift is the key I need to be pressing. Yep. Okay, so that's a 4-foot square. Okay, hold up. So that would be approximately a 2-foot square. I can work with 2 feet square. 2 feet. I can work with that. So that's 8 feet approximately. So that 3 of these is 6 feet. I'm gonna need to shift. I'm gonna need to shift it over to the left a little bit. Okay. So let me do this. Get rid of that. Let's do this. Okay, I'm messing up. I'm messing up, dude. There we go. Okay, if that's 2 feet, what I need to do is yeah, I think that'll work right there. No, accidentally I moved it. The center of the battlefield should be Freeman's Farm, right? But it's not really. It's a little bit off to the side, even historically. I should have known that. Is that too far over? Yeah, it's too far over. I need it to be right there. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. The reason why I'm doing this is I'm pre-measuring now so that when Okay, I've made that too big. Okay, that's perfect. That's pretty much perfect. Sawmill is not going to be on the table. Okay. Maybe it should be. Doesn't have to be exact, right? Okay, perfect. Something like that. Something like that. Yep, these would be 2-foot squares. This one's not in the right place, but that's okay. You get the idea. So now this tells me where on the table I need to measure to make my roads. Um, okay. That's what I'm going to be working with. Roads and rivers. And even if it's got a little bend like that, I don't need to make that in my road. I can make it straight. That's not going to be that big of a deal. And this little thing there, I'm just going to have it go and then curve down into the bridge. And then from the bridge, have it curve over. So it's going to be kind of like that and not this sharp curve like that. And it'll be a gentle curve, maybe a T intersection here. I'm not going to make this little piece of the river there. That's totally unnecessary. This river, I probably will. And it's a creek anyway. I think this is called Mill Creek, and that's because the mill's on it. I think that's right. I don't know what creek, White Creek or something like that up here. It doesn't say. And there's only one that's really in the game, and that's this creek here. This one down here is not really necessary. I don't even really need to make it, and I probably won't. It's probably shallow enough that you can just wade across it or something like that. But this one, on the other hand, is probably a little deeper. And this one up here is probably not necessary. I'm not going to put that sawmill on there. It's not necessary because there's no troops that are going to be moving in that direction. So it's almost like it's not necessary. There's not going to be troops up there. Even if they get pushed back, it's okay. It's not going to affect the game in any way. Okay, so let me switch over and we're going to start working on that. Okay, so I'm going to need to move the microphone or plug the microphone in and test it, make sure it's working before I commit to it. Because I've got this really long extension cord on it. And sometimes when you plug in that long extension cord, the computer doesn't recognize it because it's so long. Okay. Lights on. Okay, let me turn this microphone off. Bear with me, guys. Okay, now it's on. I had to go and select it in the programming. Okay, everything looks like it's working. I've got it on the wrong monitor for me to that works. Let me grab a I'm gonna grab a monster. Okay, so I'm going to lay it out on this table. I'm going to take a lot of the stuff off the table so that we can work on the table, if that makes any kind of good sense. And there's the floor mat that I was going to make my plowed fields out of. I had boxes laying on it to make so that it would lay flat on the table because it came rolled up. And now it'll lay flat. That's perfect. It's going to be a little fuzzy, so when I cut it, I'm going to save all that. Where's that? I'm going to save all that extra fuzz. I know this is kind of ridiculous, but I'm going to save it because with this loose fuzz, you can make hay bales or hay stacks. So it's forward thinking, like I'm gonna be ready to save it. Okay, that works. Once I get everything ready to paint, I'm going to be using this earth brown camouflage Rust-Oleum because it's really good. Gotta love it. Okay. Now I've already done some roads that are dirt roads, and this is exactly what I'm getting ready to make. This exact thing. It's made on felt. It's fairly stiff, as you can see. And if I had a hill or something, it would rest on it pretty well. It's not like perfect or anything, but I made these roads for my World War II game, but there's nothing saying I can't use them in my ancient wargaming, my Napoleonic wargaming, World War II, or even American War of Independence. And I have some pre-cut fields already that I used for 28 millimeter wargaming, and I think they're way too big. And these are plowed fields or wood lines. That I don't need. But we're not working on fields today. We're just working on roads and rivers. Okay, I'll be using this when I start laying the putty. That'll be these guys. This is the putty and the tools. Ruler. I might make a little map. I could print it. I could print it on paper, but I don't want to do that. I want to do it the hard way. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost got a clear table. This is my rubber that I was going to use for like coastlines, and I've already made one coastline, and then I had this extra piece of rubber. I was thinking I was going to make roads and stuff like that out of this, which I still can, but it's a little heavy, and it rolls up. It doesn't lay flat. Okay, and this is just a cutting board. Okay, we got the battlefield set. Not exactly, but you get the idea. Oh goodness, that is delicious. Okay, so second, looking for my range rulers, which I think that's all of them for 3. I should have some Meg ones. Where did I put those? Okay, these are my Meg range rulers, and this is my Land of the Free range rulers. These are all 40 millimeters. These are 2-inch. They're not, it's not real, it might be 3-inch. Yeah, it's not really 3 inches, it's the scale. Yeah, I think that's 3. Every one of these is 3 inches, I think. But in reality, it's closer to 2 inches. But what I was going to do was find my tape measure, which I think my wife put it over here. Yep, I found it. And I'm going to measure 2 foot. 4 foot. Because you remember that is what how I drew my blocks on the computer screen. So there's 2 feet. Well, my table's a little bit bigger than 4 feet. Okay. It's all good. It's close enough for government work. Okay. So those are the squares that I drew on the computer. Right? We're looking at a 2 foot square. Okay, good enough, good enough. So now, as a general idea, that looks like about 6 inches or so. There's going to be a road that goes along there. Right? That was that one that was scribbly, but I said it doesn't need to be. And it looks like it goes, that road goes all the way into the second group. So that's one, fairly one long road. And then it breaks off and goes down this way towards Freeman's Farm. Okay. Okay. And then from there it curves up. It goes off the table up there. Okay. Yeah, and this actually is more like that. Okay. That looks like about 3 inches. Okay. Then there's another road that goes this way. Okay. There. Now, if I was worried about it, there would be a road that goes around this way. And I think that's exactly where Freeman's Farm is. And this road curves back up. To about there. Really? Oh, I see. It does curve right here. Pretty steep curve. And this road comes across that way. And there's another road that goes off this way. Over and down. Okay. More like that. This whole intersection thing is going to be, that's going to be fun. Especially when I'm trying to put Freeman's Farm inside there. Freeman's Farm, I was planning on doing a single 6-inch square. So this road, I don't think I need to make. Or I don't want to make it. Maybe I do. Maybe I want to have a road that goes around that way. Yeah, that'll work. I could make this smaller. I could make that a 4-inch. Where are those at? I could make it that size. Now I don't have to make it that big. A unit can still fit in that, hopefully. I don't remember. Yeah, that works. Yeah, we'll make Freeman's Farm a little bitty thing like that. Okay. Because it's only 2 buildings. And there's going to be a mill right there. the mill, I'm going to make it the same size. It's going to be right there. That's where the mill is. The river's going to run right below it. I'm just doing roads right now. Okay. That road that crosses here goes it's kind of zigzaggy, you know, but I don't necessarily need to worry about making it a zigzag. Kind of goes a little bit like this and then a little bit like that, you know, zigzagging through. I don't necessarily need to do that. I can go over, bring it down and around like that. Kind of like that. It might even be a little sharper, but I could do that. That'd be just fine. Because Coulter's farm goes right there, right? You got Coulter's farm. Freeman's farm, the mill. There's another farm that's located here. Why the road goes like that, and that's I'm just putting that there as kind of a marker. Yeah, that's all the farms. That's all the roads actually that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so that's the road network. Okay. I have to mark the bridges. The reason why is I don't want to make a road that at a certain point will need to cross a river. So there is a river that goes right through here. So there's going to be a bridge there. I think I'm going to use a small bridge for that one. Yeah, these are all the bridges that I've got. And this is a covered bridge that I can just lay it like that on the table. That's Sarissa makes that bridge. These guys were made by Battlescape. Yeah, that'll stick. Okay, let me keep looking where the bridges are. One there by the mill. One in the middle of the battlefield. Wait, where is the road? How does the road? Okay. There's one right here, in the middle of the battlefield. And there's one over by Coulter's farm. It's a main bridge, so I think I'll use a larger bridge for that. Where is it at? Oh, it's right there. And I took all the 2-foot markers down. Okay. It's right there. Okay. Yeah, this creek goes like this and then up like that. So am I measuring correctly on that? No? Okay. Yeah, this is where the road kind of does one of those weird numbers. Okay, that was. Yep. 1, 2, 3 bridges on the map. And the creeks will do immediately after we do this. Okay, I laid these out so that I could cut the felt for the roads. Yeah, that's all the roads. That's pretty good. Okay. I mean, I could always use this bridge like there. I want to use this bridge just because it looks cool as hell. You know, it's an American countryside, Revolutionary War bridge. If I use this one, then I won't need to use this one. I like using the smaller bridges. One of the reasons why is because a ground scale. Yeah, we're going to do that. Because of ground scale. Because if 1 inch is 25 yards, and this bridge is 3 inches or so, just this center building part is 3 inches, that makes it like 75 yards, which makes it a giant bridge. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, these road pieces, can I use them? Do I have to make more? Or can I reuse these? I think I can reuse these in some way. This one, not so much. I thought I might be able to use it here, but then there's this piece, and I don't want to have some really strange road intersection corner pieces. If this was reversed, I think it would work pretty good like that, or like that. The intersections need to be sharper than a Y. They need to be more like a T. So these, except for this one maybe. Nah, I'm going to make them bespoke. You'll also notice that I've got some sharp edges. I did that so that they could go off of a map in certain places like this or that. This one looks like it would work really good right there. Okay, we might actually have something with this one. And this is not cut. This one is cut. That would okay, that one would work perfect for that right there. I cut these roads for a game of O Group. I did the Freeman's Farm, not the Freeman's Farm, that's what I'm doing now. I did the Lafier Bridge. Okay, and this is just a straightaway, which I think would work. Right there, maybe. Depending on how I do this road intersection. Because see, it doesn't want to turn right there. That would almost work. That would almost work. Nope. We're going to go bespoke. I'm not going to go with that one. And that straightaway doesn't necessarily look very good right there. I think I might go straightaway. I need to make a little piece here that goes to the edge of the map. If I'm making a little curve here, this goes to the edge of the map. I don't know if I'm going to make that. I probably won't. I'll probably make this and then this. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, that is so long. Probably could get away with that. That, because I'm going to be, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. And see, this is not touching the edge of the map. See those little extra curves and cuts I'm going to have to be making on these. I don't have to reuse. Like I said, I can make bespoke map pieces. Okay, that's fine. I'll make a little T intersection there. I think that's a good place for all those. These are not going to be used. Put them back. Okay, all my roads are going to be 40 millimeters wide. If you didn't already know. That's actually, those are more than 40. If this is a 40 millimeter base, I think I must have made them 50 millimeters wide. I must have made them 50. Yep, they're 50s. That way, if I do about 5 millimeters on a side, the figures, when they're in march column down the road, it'll look pretty good on the road. Okay. Not much more measuring I need to do. Okay. So now we're going to start talking tutorial. Or like how I plan to do this. Okay, let me put my fingers away. For those of you that are watching live, you might not know this, but I have painted every figure I need for Freeman's Farm. This is the felt I'm going to be using. You can see I got like an earth tone style felt of color, just to make it easier on me. There's felt that you can buy at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that, and it comes in these 8.5 by 11 sheets. This is not the felt I'm using. These are pretty cheap. They're like 50 cents to $1 or something like that, and you can cut these out and make all different kinds of terrain projects with these. But this is not what I'm using for my terrain, right? I am using, because it's too soft. It's too soft and flimsy. That's not what I want to, not flimsy, I suppose, but yeah. I'm using what's called stiff felt. When you order it, you order stiff. This has some creases in it, which I'm not too concerned with. Okay. These sheets come in like a 3-foot length. If I want, I could make like this entire road out of one sheet, and then it would make it so much easier to just lay that on the table. But the problem with that is you don't get any modularity. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, not diverse. I can't use it on other battlefields if I make it too bespoke. But like these, even though I made them for O Group, a World War II game, I can still use them. I just have to find the right place for them. But there are certain intersections that I'm going to make that they're going to be bespoke for this battle, but I'm still going to be able to use them in other battles. I don't want to use this peach one first. I also don't want to use the white ones. They're not really white. They're kind of like a tan color. I like using these for like winter areas, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter because I'm going to be painting them anyway. But this is stiff felt. So when you look at it, you can see it's pretty stiff. It holds its shape, you know. It's not super stiff, but it's stiff enough. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. If I had an iron, I could iron out all the creases, but you don't need to. You don't need to. Scissors, one of your best friends. Yeah, the peach. What did I say? I'm not going to use the peach. I'm not going to use the white. I guess I could just flip it over, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, these are the colors I want. The other ones are just perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to be painting it. Remember the paint I showed you at the very beginning? I'm going to be painting it anyway. Okay. So now I just need to start cutting my roads to size, to scale. One thing I'd like to do is measure. But what am I measuring? I'm only really measuring the connector, right? Just making sure that that's a little too, it's not sharp enough, but that's okay. I don't think that little piece will matter that much. I'm basically measuring a 50 millimeter width, but I don't need to worry about 50 millimeters here in the middle of the road. I only really need to worry about it where it touches another road. So I could make this road wide and curvy and whatever, but as long as this end is 50 millimeters, it'll fit with every other road that I do. So I give myself a 50 millimeter mark just so that I have an idea of where I need to make a 50 millimeter connection. I think, and I don't need to make it longer than 12 inches. I could do 2 inches because 2 inches is 50 millimeters. But like that's the end of the road, so I need to make the angle a little bit sharper. Okay, so the angle is this way. That works. Now, if I draw a straight line, like I did with these, I'll be able to use straight lines all the way across. But again, it doesn't matter because the roads can have a little bit of sway in them. I'm going to cut it as, straight, but it's not important. because the only thing that matters is the end. Okay, so that can go somewhere. Yeah, and I can see there's a little bit of curve there, but guess what? I'm okay with it. I am super okay with that. And then I've got a little curve here. So if I can imagine there's 50 inches or 52 inches. You know what I mean. This is going to come up to Coulter's farm. But it's going to need to curve or turn right there. So if I go straight out like this, then the other one should fit as well. So give me a 2-inch road. And then I have to do a 2-inch because I don't necessarily want it to be sharp like that. I want it, but it's okay if it is. Let me back up and say it's okay if it is. Because see, this is probably, especially this one, it's bigger than 2 inches. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut it like that. And it also cuts easy. That makes a good amount of sense. Okay, that works. Now, as what I could do is flip this over, and now it should have a perfect connection with this. With this. Where's my 2 inches? That's what she said. I hope not. I hope she didn't say that. So you can draw on it nice and easy with a pen. Sometimes putting a little zigzag in the cut makes it look more attractive. You don't necessarily want to have a perfect straight dirt road. Well, some people might. And then Coulter's Farm can go right there. Now, I was wondering if I could use this little piece right here right there. I could if I decided to bring this down a little bit, which I don't see why I can't. It was only a fraction of an inch, and I'm not wasting any felt. So that's going to be like right there. Grass on both sides. And another thing, felt likes to stick on this little fuzzy table mat that I use. This is a fuzzy table mat to represent like grass and stuff. All right, that's how you do it. Now let's keep moving. This is not the end result. This is. Okay. Now some of these intersections, I could just make them straight and then have other roads butt up against them. But I don't like doing that. I like having, um, I like the road to kind of bend. I don't know how to explain it. Um, so like I would do a road here and then maybe make this all one piece and then make this one piece and then a second piece that goes right here. This one's going to be all, this little section right here is all going to be one piece. And then this will probably be one piece. And if I can get this one piece and this one piece to connect, same thing with these two, that would be good. That would be most good. Okay. I think I'm going to want to move the mill and the bridge because the road's got to go by the side of this thing. Same thing with this road, it's got to go beside it. And this one, it's got to go beside it. Okay, I don't know where to go next. Because now I'm going to start wasting felt. Because you're going to get curves and you're going to have little pieces of felt that you're not going to use. But let's go ahead and do this one. Is it wide enough? It is wide enough that I could do the bridge and everything. Okay. 2 inches. That'll connect with this road. And then all the way down here, 2 inches should connect to that road. Okay, knowing okay, that's where the house is going to be. But how far from the road to the bridge? 3 inches? Wait, what is this? Oh, it's 4 inches. Okay. So I'm going to be going 3 inches to the bridge. It's right there. We're going to have a 2-inch road. And I don't want to put the bridge straight out like that. I'm going to put it at an angle-ish. So this angle needs to be kind of like that. So that this bridge can sit like that. Okay. Right. So because the town is going to be resting right up against the road here, I'm going to want to make that a sharp 90 degree. But this side, if I wanted to, I could cut it gradual, like a curve. A semicircular cut like that on one side. I hope that works. Let's see. Hope everybody's been enjoying my uh, recreation of the Freeman's Farm project. You know, the miniatures, the terrain, all that stuff I've been doing. Okay, that can scoot up, and this can just attach to it. Oh, wait, I didn't cut that angle. And that's going to be a wasted piece of felt. Totally all right. This bundle of felt isn't expensive at all. And that bridge will sit right there. That'll allow the water to go through there next to the mill. You know, the mill would technically be in the water. All right, so we're cooking with Crisco. Now, another place up here. I'm trying to do the simple ones first. This one's going to be complicated. And now that I've got a little cut here, I can start the road here and have the intersection go this way, if I wanted, and I do. And it's not going to go all the way. Yep, that's where I'm going to put it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to applying the plaster today. We might have to do that tomorrow, because it took me so long to decide on how I want the map to go. Yeah. My stream observation is closed. I'm looking over. I see where I'm broadcasting. I see my map on the screen, and I see my my map editor tool. I don't see the chat, so I don't know if anybody's talking with me. If you are, I'll check that when I end the stream. Yeah. Okay. Where are we at? What are we doing? What are we doing, my lord? Okay. We're going to do something approximately like that. We're going to do something approximately like that. If I wanted to, nope, we're gonna pull it back a little. Yeah, because I want to use as much of this as possible. Now this could go all the way up to the river, because that bridge is right where it needs to be. And then we'll do some curvy curves. Okay. So that's a pretty good representation. 2 inches is there. Two inches is there. Wait, I'm a little confused. Perfect. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, I've got it the way I want it. Now we're going to have curves at these intersections. Okay. I might be able to use these features for something else. I don't know what it might be, but now I am thinking about taking this scenario to NashCon this year. NashCon is in August around Memorial Day. I think it's Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, that looks good. Let's kind of pull that off to the side. Pull that off to the side. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. See, these look a little sharp-edged, but what can you do? I could take it and cut like a little circle right there, and I could do the same right there, and I think I'm going to do that. It'll make it less bespoke, or it'll make it less modular if I do that. So I won't do it. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Okay. That looks like it's going to be one piece. I might even decide not to use that piece. Yeah, I'm going to use that piece. But that looks like it's going to be one piece. There's going to be a little piece here. There's going to be a little piece there. Then there's going to be a freaky do intersection right there, which I think I could do right now. It could go to the edge of the farm. It could go to the edge of the farm. And it could go, yeah, it'll be just a very crazy looking intersection. But we're going to do it. We're going to figure this out. Actually, if I go this way, it'll be a lot easier. That's 2 inches. It's going to need to be way over there. So this is going to have to angle a little bit better. Which is good because that makes that angle better. Okay. Two inches there. 2 inches there. I could go all the way up to here if I wanted, huh? I'm not going to, though. I'm going to go straight down. The road is going to go straight across, right? Okay, so far so good. Angling it towards the bridge. Okay, my question is that a four-way intersection? Or is that, am I misreading? Yes, it's not a four-way intersection. This connects here, and this connects there. Actually, it kind of curves. Okay. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. It only has to be perfect where it actually connects. So I could okay. Yeah, that one's a little freaky, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. Okay. So it kind of is a four-way intersection in a way, but that's okay. What I do with the building? Okay. So far, so good. Could something like this be used for something like that? It certainly can. Okay. Grab to the rescue. I'm definitely a miser when it comes to buying materials. I try to use every little bit that I can. Wow, that's 50 millimeters. Strange how that works. Now, I made a mistake on one of the pieces during the Lafier Bridge roads. I had actually taken one of the pieces and turned it upside down and then plastered and made the road. And so when I tried to put it on the table, it wouldn't fit properly. I made it upside down. So what I plan to do is draw on every one of these that it's the top. Okay. This one is pretty straightforward. These are not. Okay. Now, don't forget, I can flip these over if I need to. And that little piece is not going to be used for anything. I already know. How do I want to how do I want to cut that? Do I want to have this and then just, oh yeah, that's going to be a T intersection as well. Is that going to be okay? That's going to be wide enough. And if I do it this way, I might need to make this wide enough. You see that would actually go all the way to the end of the building. And then this piece would just be, I don't think I want that. I want there to be a little bit of a, you know, like a connection. I don't want the connection to be so close to the end that there's nothing sticking out the other side. I could always just cut a little bit off of this so that there is, but I also could make this road go up this way Because it is supposed to be kind of rounded, I think. Yeah, according to. Oh, yeah, wait. This road isn't even supposed to be there. It's supposed to be more like that. And this would go up this way. Okay, that's that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna waste a little felt. That's okay. 50 millimeters. Approximately, no big deal. $50 I'm going to try to go all the way up to here so I waste the least. That's going to be pretty much straight. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to be cutting. Yeah, I'm going to be cutting pieces off of this, so that doesn't matter. And we already know that's a 4-inch square. Ah, wait, hold on. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it in the middle here. So that needs to be, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit further if I can. Okay. 4 inches would be the end of the building would be right there. That's fine. Yeah, so this works for sure. That works. Okay, I'm going to be cutting some stuff off the ends, it looks like. Now, I did a felt road system long time ago, long time ago for Princeton, and I numbered the pieces of felt, but I had no reference to what the number system meant. So those numbers were useless to me. Okay. Okay. Cut that at the wrong angle. There we go. That works. Might go use that for something. I don't know what, but that one too. Okay, so now I want just a lazy Y intersection right there, which I could get out of this. No, because it won't connect. I don't think this piece is going to make me a lazy Y. Okay, I'm going to have to use another piece of pelt for that. Okay, that works. I'm not sure how that's going to work. That'll be okay. Okay, for sure. For sure. Somebody across the way is singing I Love Rock and Roll. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. Just making sure this road is about 2 inches wide. And we can curve it. Yeah, I think I might use the white pieces for the river. Just to make it a little different. And I'll be able to, I'll know which ones are which. Now, you could probably get away with just laying the felt with no plaster and no painting and everything, straight on the table like this. But I would only do that in an emergency, in a if you were desperate for a road. Okay, that might be a couple of roads. I don't know. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Right? Right. Even though I'm the kind of person that wants it to be perfect. Okay. Okay, let's go with this piece to start the other row. Didn't I cut this one already? Oh, it wouldn't. I didn't have a piece large enough for that. Okay, I got it. I didn't cut it. Okay. This one should be large enough. I should be able to manufacture a road connection here. If I go to the end of the building, oh, okay, that works. I was afraid it wasn't going to connect down here, but it does. But that's going to be cut off. That straight? It is. Approximately like that. And then I can make whatever intersection I want there. Yeah, that doesn't look like 2 inches. I was like, what the heck? Okay. That's a freaky Y intersection, but that's okay. I keep saying that, but that's okay. Because if you've been following this channel long enough, you know I've got a philosophy when it comes to terrain making. There is no wrong in terrain making. Because the world is not perfect. If a line is not straight, or if a road doesn't go exactly the way it's supposed to, that's okay. Mistakes actually make it a better piece of terrain. Now I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, goes this way. There we go. That looks good. That looks real good. Do I only have one piece left? I've got that end piece over there, and then I've got this piece right here. That's pretty much it when it comes to the roads. That's pretty sweet. I probably should use this side. Okay. Perfect. Nope. Again, it's not perfect, but that's okay. Okay. Let me see if I can get around over here. Okay, this angle is actually cut pretty good for the end of the table. Try not to trip over any of my cables I've got laying over here. Okay, this should be the last piece of road. Okay, that's all the roads for Freeman's Farm. Freaking outstanding. A few extra pieces here that might or might not be the little pieces I know I'm not going to be able to use for anything, terrain or otherwise. So let me clean that up. That I could probably use as a road. That could be a road. That could be a very short road. Same with that. And that. And that. Those could all be very short roads. Okay, so that's going to be the roads. There's going to be open fields over here. There's going to be some farm area here. There's going to be open fields throughout the center here because I want there to be combat. And there's going to be woods all through the back side over there. And woods over on the bottom side over here. There's going to be some wheat fields here and here. I'm not sure what goes in there. I'll have to figure that out. Well, there's a farm there, so that's probably open, cultivated area. So I don't know. Okay. I'll save these scraps. This is going to be trash, even though it could be a very small road. This felt doesn't cost enough for me to concern myself with that little piece. And if you watched my other live stream, I think it was yesterday, I talked about the wheat fields. I'm not going to put a base down. So I'm not going to put a solid base for the fields. I'm just going to put small little pieces like this to represent wheat fields, and I'll make enough of them that I can put them around the table. I don't need to make a board like that. And then I'll just surround them with fences or walls or hedges. And they will look sweet. Okay, well, here's all my river pieces. Now that the roads are all squared away. And like I said, I'm probably not going to put the river down here. I'm just going to put woods, which woods are going to be rough terrain anyway. So just understand there is a creek back here. There's going to be a creek up there, but I'm not going to model it because it's woods, and woods is rough terrain already. But I am going to model the creek that goes along here, right? So because that's kind of a major obstacle in this battle, I think. I would suspect. So let's try to figure out how this creek goes, or how it gets along. Um, okay, the Mill Creek goes pretty much parallel to the road. Okay, so the Mill Creek goes pretty much like that. Pretty much. Okay, but that's all I saw. That's all I looked at. Okay. It zigzags, but I don't know if I need to worry about all that. And then it curves down, and then curves up, and then curves down. Okay. So it makes a pretty, remember that's there. Goes down. Then it goes up, curves right here. Do I like a really small piece? Not really, but it kind of makes like a U right there. And then it does the same right here. Kind of goes like that, and it makes gentle curves. I don't need to make it super sharp. Yeah, that goes. Pretty much not all the way, but I'm going to make it go all the way to the edge of the table just to prevent people from gaming the system. Just to prevent people from using the edge of the table as a boundary or whatever. Okay, that's pretty good, just like that. That's not much river. Okay. So, the question is now, how wide do I make my rivers? Do I make them 1 inch? Do I make them 4 inches? How big do I make the rivers? Because they're not really rivers, they're creeks. I think this, if hypothetically, if I imagine this being the river with a little bank on the side to allow it to blend in with the table, to give it distinction, maybe put some bushes and maybe some tufts or something on the sides. Is that too wide? I think it is. I think that's too wide. I think it needs to be not a half. I'm just talking about the inside section. I don't think the inside section is about 35. It's supposed to be 30, but it looks like it's about 35-ish. Yeah, about 35 millimeters. I think 35 would be too much. I think 25 would be pretty good size. Like a 1 inch. That would make it about a quarter of an inch smaller. that might also be just a little bit too wide as well. Would a 20 millimeter? That would be very good for a creek. 20 millimeters. So I think I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make my river bed, the whole thing, an inch and a half. Hold on. If I make it an inch and a half, and then I make the inside portion 3/4 of an inch, that gives me 1/4 of an inch on each side. Is that right? Am I doing my math right? Inch and a half, 1/4 inch on both sides. No, that gives me a whole inch in the middle. Okay, so an inch and a half is too big. An inch and a quarter. Okay, my legs are tingling. Because 30 millimeters might be too narrow. Yeah, 30 millimeters will be too narrow. .40 millimeters with 20 millimeters in the center would be okay, maybe. You know what we're going to do? We're going to draw. Okay, I'm marking 40 millimeters, a river. I'm just going to make it go perfectly straight. And then in the middle of that, I'm going to do a 20 millimeter. Okay, that's not 40. Okay, that's sort of like 40. Sort of like. Because I'm thinking 20 millimeter creek. That'll give me a centimeter on each side, which will be quite a bit to make little river banks, grass and tufts and stuff. Yeah, like that. And this being the water, and this being the grassy knoll, the riverbanks. But that kind of makes the riverbanks a little bit too wide. I want them to be like barely noticeable. Yeah, that makes the riverbanks too wide. 30 will make it too small. Guys, I am... Okay. What is 35? Would 35 make a good river width? and then 20 millimeters in the middle. Actually, I think that works out pretty good, actually. Twenty millimeter water, 35 millimeter. That's it right there. That makes the riverbanks almost like that, but very much doable. And then the water in the middle. Yes, I put a lot of thought into this. And then I got a unit. Comes up to the water. Linear obstacle. I like it. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So all I need to really concern myself with when I cut the strips out is 35 millimeters, because the water will come naturally when I apply the plaster. You guys follow along? You figured that out? 35 millimeter water features. They should be kind of wavy and they should be wavy. But that would use a lot of extra felt. Not necessarily. Let me think about that. It'll use a little bit extra felt, but if they're all wavy, then that'll be okay. And do I want to have the river go under the bridges, or do I want it to stop at the edge of the bridge? I'd love it to go under the bridge, but it makes for a more difficult piece of terrain. And I could make this one piece. I could make this one piece. I could make this one piece, and I could make that one piece. And they would be very long. What did I do with my tape measure? If I did that, I'm looking at 22 inches of river. And the box I'm planning on putting these guys in where's that box? Is this it? It's 17 inches. Dang it. Okay, if I was to store it in this box, 21 inches. Well, fudge. I guess I'm going to have to split that in two. That is 17 inches, but I'm going to split that in two as well. I guess except for maybe this one. Yeah, that's less than 12 inches. I'm going to split that in two, split that in two, split that in two. Okay. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, let's get started. And it doesn't really matter how wide you make your rivers, as long, same as the roads, as long as the connections are the same size. But of course, I'm going to try to make them 35 all the way across the board. I'm putting a little zig in this. Maybe a little zag. Okay. You see, it's kind of a rolling river there. I did the full length, and then once I get it laid out, I'm just going to cut it in half. Because wherever I cut it, it's obviously going to match up with itself. Okay. That's one river. I'm liking it. This one's going to be cut in half, so I probably could use that. Just trying to save by using that edge. But I don't think I need to. I think I can just use this whole thing and make the whole cut there. But with a big curve like this, that's going to take a big chunk out of this. Yeah. And I do want it to still be kind of flowy like this. And like I said, that's going to be 2 pieces. 12 inches would be a good length for that. $35-ish. 35. 35. I'm making little bullet point areas. 12 inches. 35. I'm just eyeballing because, like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. And I think this is going to wind up being at an angle anyway. Oh, this river could go underneath. I could do an underneath kind of deal. That would hide the seam of where the, okay. Yeah, I can make the other one connect here. And that would hide this seam by going boop like that. I don't think ooh, maybe. Yeah, I might be able to get underneath another one. I'm going to do that. Um, 8 inches. Maybe 8 1/4. Okay. If some areas wind up being a little bit thinner and some areas wind up being a little bit wider, I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that, actually. In the land of the free, it doesn't matter how wide the obstacle is. It's just that it's designated an obstacle. Okay, I got a runny nose. And obstacles don't reduce your movement in any way. What they do is they require an action to cross. So, like if you got a fence, a wall, you use one action to move up to the wall, river, and then you use one action to just cross it. Maybe I like it like that. I do. Yeah, see, that's not going to make it under the river like that. Under the bridge. It won't fit under the bridge like that. I'm rounding the edges a little bit just so they're not as harsh. But it's going to be grass mostly anyway. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to use this section right there. making sure, measure twice, cut once, like they say. One thing I like about felt is it kind of sticks to the table. Not right now, I don't like it, but in general, I love it. Okay. Okay, 35 and 35. So that's the closest I can get to the edge. Okay. Thirty-five. 35. 35. I'm making little waypoints for my scissors. So when I'm cutting in a zigzaggy pattern, I'll be hitting the various spots that I need to hit. All right, let's do this. And I'm keeping the creek fairly straight, even though I'm putting a little zigzag in it, mainly so that miniatures can line up next to it. So it's kind of a gamey thing to do. That's perfect, but it's also too long. But we know that. So if I cut it at about 11 inches, it'll be about halfway. It doesn't matter, but there you go. Two 11-inch pieces. All right, almost done with the river. Now all I got to do is cut this major curve here, and it's less than 12 inches. So it can just be one piece. That needs to be two pieces, doesn't it? I don't think I cut that in half. Yeah, I know I didn't. There we go. Trashola. And this piece has kind of seen better days, hasn't it? Okay. Am I going to be able to use that to make this curve? Not really. I could use this portion. Nope. How about like this? Why, yes, I can. But I want it to come down here. And then somewhere like that. Okay. Okay. Hope this works. If you like my terrain building or model painting or book reviews, or even if you like watching me play computer games, um, donations that support the channel would be very appreciated. It would help me keep the lights on and keep the internet going. buying new models. Like Victrix has a lot of cool looking medieval models that I really want to get for the store. But, you know, finances. You can only do so much. I can only buy from one company at a time. That kind of stuff. But yeah, if you help out, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we got a river there and one that goes under the bridge, which it doesn't have to connect, but it does, but it doesn't have to, because I plan to cover it with a footbridge or a wooden plank bridge or whatever they call this thing. Country bridge. And that doesn't have to be cut in half. This little piece, trash. Now this piece can go in with the rest of that. Okay, so we got them all cut out. It's now 2 o'clock, so I've been going at it for either 2 or 3 hours, 3 hours at least. Now, I'm going to write on the tops of these what they are. And then, that way I don't plaster the wrong side. And then we'll do that tomorrow. So this is what we're going to call it. I'm just going to end the stream here. Road. 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 Now, I could just put lines. Because I know all the brown ones are roads. I could put like where it's located on the map. Like what quadrant. Just to make it but I'm going to plaster over the top of this. I could put it on the bottom, and then that way when I look at it I can say, oh, this goes here. But I'll do that probably after I paint it. So I'm just going to put an X. That way I know which way is up. I can do the same on the rivers. Because the plaster is, and the painting and everything else is going to cover up any ink that might bleed through. But I'm doing plaster, so there should be no, not plaster, I'm using a Alex. It's like a caulk. It's called an acrylic latex. So it's like soft and flexible. It either says road or it's got an X. Or if it's a river, it's got an X. I'm checking all the pieces just to make sure. Yep, they're all marked. All right, guys. I'm going to clean up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Before I do that, Let me check the chat just to see if there is any, because I promised I would. All right, we got Joseph saying, "Hey, Derek. Hey, Joseph, how you doing?" And then we got you probably can't hear me. Let's turn the pro. Can you hear me? There you go. We got Joseph saying hi, Derek, and I'm saying hi back. Hey, Joseph. And then we got Sean, one of our regulars, saying, "Sorry, I just joined your channel. What are we talking about today?" Hey, Sean. The battle for Freeman's Farm. Let me put a center display thing on. There we go. Of course, you can't see it. So let me, wrong button. This is the battle for Freeman's Farm, which is located right here. Saratoga, 1777, American War of Independence. I'm on the table behind the screen here. I'm only doing a 4x6. These squares here that I drew are 2-foot squares. And that is going to be the table right here. So you can see the main river that goes through the battlefield is this guy right here. It comes down there, and then you got your 3 bridges, one there, and one there. And that would be my 3 bridges right there. We got the mill here. We got some other farm. I can't read that. It doesn't say. McBride's farm is up here. I might put McBride's farm on the map. I don't know. I could just put another building up here. It looks like he's on both sides of the river or road, so I could put it on one side. And this is when Benedict Arnold won his greatest victory. Hey, Alex. Hey. Watch your step when you go up the steps there.
Oh,
I got that cable. Yeah, so this is just the start of making my battlefield, a 4x6 table for my 15mm American War of Independence. So I think we're doing really good so far. Now, this is all felt, right? But it's not finished. Tomorrow, I'm going to apply a caulking putty to all the felt, and then which will allow me to give it will allow me to paint it and give it texturing, like these 2 pieces right here. Those are already finished. I've already done that. I did that months ago, but I did it for a World War II game. But I'm going to reuse them, of course. I'll reuse any of these pieces that I can for other battles, but if I can't, no big deal. I'll make whatever missing pieces I have. I've got a few pieces in the box over on the shelf, mainly because, yeah, let me, don't save that. Okay. I got some other pieces on the shelf that wouldn't fit into this battle. Now I still have trees that I got to put out, and I think I'm going to make a corner, maybe just 6 inches worth of a redoubt, because Fraser was guarding the redoubt, and he was reluctant, or I should say Burgoyne who is actually in charge of the entire British Army in this battle. Uh, Bur- General Burgoyne was hesitant to deploy troops out of the uh, out of the redoubt, but he wound up doing it anyway. But that's going to be a place for Fraser to deploy his troops, and then he can deploy them or not deploy them. If he does deploy them, that's going to be victory points for the Continentals, forcing them to deploy. If they don't deploy, then the Continentals don't get those victory points. Um, so it's a toss up of whether or not he wants to do that. The Hessians will come. You can't see it. I think I've got it covered. But there's a road that go. This road here goes off the table. That's where the Hessians come in on the British side. But the main objective is Freeman's Farm, the mill, Coulter's Farm, the river. Basically, just to bloody the British. And the British will start on this road behind the mill, and the Americans will start in the woods right along this table edge here, with Freeman's Farm kind of being in the middle. I think Poor's Brigade, I think, comes up this road on the far left, and then Learned comes up in the middle, I think. I'll have to do my research on that. But yeah, it should be an exciting battle. But I'm still working on the terrain. So tomorrow we'll do the puttying, and I probably won't get to paint them tomorrow because the putty does take a little bit of time to dry, and then I don't want to paint it until it's dry. So that might be a Thursday project. Okay, well, I need to just clean up the table and let you guys go. And I notice that I'm going to click on it. What is today? Tuesday? Yeah, 4.1 is not out yet. It's still in the PTU, so I'm not going to be playing Star Citizen tonight. I'm probably going to be playing more Skyrim. Guaranteed, we're going to be playing more Skyrim. All right. Well, you guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming out.